Well, let's take you now to Mthatha in the Eastern Cape, where 2-year-old flood victim Othalive Mphothulo will be laid to rest. She's one of over 30 children who lost their lives after being swept away by floodwaters in Decoligny earlier this month. Her family will gather in the Decoligny Village to pay their last respect. Newzroom Afrika's Liyema Vumisa is on that story for us. A very good morning to you, Liyema. Tell us about the preparations that are underway for the family to bid their final farewell to the 2-year-old.
A sad day, isn't it, Aldrin, for most families. Just yesterday, we were attending a funeral of two families, that is the Vava family and also the Khumalo family. They were laying to rest their two children who succumbed, or rather who passed away, unfortunately, as a result of those floods that ravaged this very same town that we are in, that is Mthatha, 16 and 17-year-old. And just today, it's unfortunately the same story. We are going to be attending a funeral then this morning of Othalive Mphothulo, a 2-year-old child who unfortunately also passed away as a result of being swept away by those very same floods that occurred about 2 weeks ago from now in the Decoligny area. That's where you may recall then that particular location was the hardest hit in terms of those floods that destroyed multiple buildings, multiple homes, and even the roads in that very same vicinity. Now, we just spoke to the grandfather then of Othalive a couple of minutes ago before you came to us, right behind me at one of the local mortuaries here in Mthatha, or rather, do I say, funeral parlor, wherein he was mentioning that they're going to depart then the funeral parlor and head straight first to that very same scene where everything happened, and that's where, of course, according to their tradition and custom, they're going to fetch the spirit that is supposedly remaining there of Othalive. Thereafter, then they'll proceed to the home where they'll have a short prayer and lay to rest their child. Now, we understand that Othalive was just playing outside at the time of that incident at her mother's house that she resides in that area of Decoligny, and just like that, moments after, that's when then the child was swept away by those floods. Now, a lot of setbacks have since occurred. We are being told by the grandfather here moments ago, mentioning to us that the plans that they had, in fact, did not go accordingly as they anticipated they would. Part of which is, he claims, is the government's failure then to keep to their promises of catering for their burial. Matter of fact, Aldrin, I do have with me a communication that lists some of the deceased persons as a result then of these floods, whom the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, alongside the Eastern Cape government as a whole, did in fact promise those very same families that they're going to assist them with the burial. Now, with this particular family of Othalive, we understand that the support that they're going to be provided, according to the Eastern Cape government, is an avbob burial, a parkage, a grave that is going to be paid for by the municipality, alongside some groceries. But on the contrary, the grandfather mentioning to us earlier on that none of that has happened, and in fact, he is the sole person that is running around behind the preparations of their child. Matter of fact, most family members are not going to be in attendance as a result of other plans that they have, and thus then is reeling from the fact that his rather 2-year-old grandchild is not going to get a beautiful send-off, but also remaining adamant that today that funeral will in fact go to plan. Now, we understand, just like I mentioned earlier on, the funeral is going to get underway just in the next hour at the home then that is in the Decoligny location, wherein a prayer will be held on behalf of the family. Then thereafter they'll proceed to the gravesite where they will lay to her final resting place, Othalive Mphothulo, 2-year-old child, Aldrin. You can imagine the devastation then that entire family is and really must be feeling at this current juncture. This, of course, comes as just over 30 children across the Oratambo and Amatole districts are reported to have been passed away as a result of those floods, and thus then families are continuing to bury their loved ones, particularly the children.